Good morning. You are welcome in AI with Rao, and let's make AI simple. And in this journey, sixth day of machine learning series, now we have come to second real model, and that is logistic regression. Just yes and no brain, as simple. Now what we are going to cover is this topic: when to use logistic and when to use linear. Then in linear it was a straight line, in regression has S curve. And why it is called regression? It's a very surprising answer. And how threshold defines the nature. Okay, so let's start. And the first we follow the same structure, and that is one liner. That what is logistic regression? Just three things you need to keep in your head. Yes, the first is it gives the probability. Okay, then we set a threshold, and third we just answer yes or no. Just three things. If you can remember in sequence, first is the probability, it gives the probability, then we set a threshold, and then we give the answer, it is yes or no. And in real life, what is yes or no? Is this email is a spam? Is a certain situation is pass or fail? It is a fraud or not? As yes or no. Okay, now come to the real life analogy, and that is the story. This is how we connect with situation in real life. And what is it? The example of a security guard, a watchman. Now two situation is there. First, say delivery boy comes. Okay, then if he's a regular goer, then his face is calm. Okay, he's going smoothly and he's used to it. Then watchman knows that I don't need to stop, he can go. Now the second situation, if a person comes here who is very nervous, okay, and without any reason he is very nervous and very fast, then what security guard will do? He or she will stop him or her. Now analyze this situation. You might have encountered this situation in your life. You think security guard does a mathematical calculation on, then tells that one should stop or not? No, he look at the features of behavior of a person, and then based on his intuition, you got my point? Based on his intuition, or look at the clues, and based on his intuition he says or she says that stop or not. Exact these things we are going to train, we are going to make a algorithm, and this algorithm is called regression. Okay, that we are going to know. So yesterday we discussed about linear regression. What was there in linear regression? Just number. Anything in real life we have to predict a number. Always remember linear regression. Now this, why I'm saying this, because this is a completely different story. If in real life situation if you have yes or no kind of situation, then where you have to say this is a spam email or not, will this customer leave or not, is this transaction is fraud or not, everything yes or no will come under logistic regression. As simple as that. Now to understand this story more clearly, we have a graph. This is the graph of a linear regression where we predict the number, right? This orange dot were the actual data points, and this is the best line we can draw. Now in logistic regression, just always remember the one word, that is S. So logistic regression uses the S curve. I am saying this S curve just for simplicity. The real name is sigmoid function. We will discuss that. Now look at this two things. Linear regression always predicts a number, example sales, temperature, and its nature is straight line. Logistic regression gives the answer in form of yes or no. Two things only, yes or no, not in between anything. Okay, like a fraud, spam, pass, fail, S curve. Now you remember everything? Great. And this is also called sigmoid, the scientific name. Now come to the real magic, that how this sigmoid looks like it is, or a S curve looks like. This is the real thing. See, if we saw this linear regression, it is a straight line. It can go from 0 to infinite number. Okay, there is no limit of number. But in sigmoid, because it deals with probability, and probability always lies between 0 and 1, so whatever the line we have, it converts that and it squares that between 0 and 1. And you can see this probability, y-axis is the probability and x-axis is the score of the line. And if we set a threshold of 0.5, if threshold is below 0.5, we will call it no, like negation. Okay, if it is more than our threshold, then we are going to say positive thing, yes, truth. It will depend what is the situation. Now you got the point. Now here take an example of when we call a email and spam or not. When it is beyond 0.5, it is not a spam. It is below 0.5, we call it a spam. Okay, now the real thing, that how mathematically it is. Okay, if you are from non-technical background, don't worry, it is very simple, you can skip that. But if you are from technical background, you should know this, because it's really simple. Here yesterday we learned about this Z. Z is nothing but straight line. That is, Z is here, it was Y yesterday, now we are calling it Z. Okay, that is mx plus c is what? Equation of a straight line. So what we are giving, E is the constant, and we are here providing the straight line. So we are providing the straight line into this function, that is squeezing the straight line between 0 to 1. That's it. You can see this is the straight line, and this is what, and it is ultimately giving you the probability. E is what? E is a constant like pi, that is 2.718 dash dash, any number you can write, it is there already. So this is the big realization that you need to understand. The output we are getting as a P is actually the probability value, the number. Now this is very tricky, and most of the people who are into like this course, they don't teach these things, so they don't never discuss these things, but we are not going to follow that route, and we are going to. So why? Because you know, in the beginning I told you that remember yes or no, but the question comes that if it is a yes and no, then why it is called regression? Regression is something that deals with the number. That's what the real magic is. Under the hood, it is actually dealing with the number. It first predicts the number. How? Through probability. It finds the probability, it gives the number. That's the reason it is called regression. And on top of that, what we are doing, we are setting a threshold. That okay, if that is below 0.5, then we will call it no, and if it is above 0.5, then we will call it yes. So this is our interpretation, but under the hood it is working on number, it is predicting the number. That is quality, that is the reason it is called a regression technique. You got my point? The name, why the name is there like a regression, but it doesn't look like regression. It looks like a just yes or no. Now you can see the diagram and you can really feel it, that why and how. So this is, say, take an example of email. So an email is there in email, say we find capital letter in win, free and dollar, right? And we use that model, and this model give us the probability 0.94. Now we have a threshold. Is 0.94 is more than 0.5? Yes. Then this is a spam or not a spam, we will decide. And in this case, what is spam? You got my point? This is what we are doing. Now the real thing, that is exact code, because theory will not help you until and unless you don't know how to train this. Now we are just importing this logistic regression model, and X is the feature. What is features? In features, what we are providing? The number. What is the number? Number of count of dollar sign and caps words and links. We will count that through our programming. That's pretty simple. And Y is what? 1 is for spam and 0 is for not for a spam. This is the answer we want. Now model.fit, we training data set we provided, and now we give that, okay, this is 5, this is 8 and this is 3. This is the count of dollar, caps lock and link. And now we ask that it is a spam. Now it has learned that through model.fit on our data, and now it is predicting it is a spam. Okay, now we want to know the probability, because under the hood it is working on probability. So we predict dot prob, that will give us the probability. It is given 94%. That is a spam. Got it? Now let's cover what we learn within 20 seconds. So we learn what? Logistic regression always give the answer yes or no. Okay. And now when it is, so when the answer lies in a category, not in a number. Now the third is, what is sigmoid curve? The S-shaped curve that always squares the line between 0 to 1. Okay, and you can move the threshold. It is our convenience that what we want to set a threshold. We can set threshold 0.5, 0.2, 0.8, depends on the situation. Okay, so thank you so much for being in the video till now.